It's been a crazy last year, I'm trying to process still. I don't even know how I should feel. I got a couple big houses and some wish, maybe 3. And I got family members that got bigger egos than me. And I got fans around the world whenever I'm overseas. And I got friends who just pretend and say they love everything. And yes, I fell in love again, I thought that was impossible. And I promise it's too real for me to care what they think. I promise I don't give cause I know who I am. Hating on me undercover, I just won't understand. Say we're brothers, call me family, you act like a fan. 2 a.m. in Atlanta, screaming, baby, I'm back. Play me like a fool, I see. But it's been so long since I thought about you. I swear, okay, baby, I'm back. I guess you want the one for me. But it's been so long since I thought about you. I swear, okay, baby, I'm back. I told my baby, let them talk, that's the caption. I don't even really like being online, that texting. Started off as an attraction, now it's turned into attachment. Overseas, we relaxing, I ain't think about the past tense. No. Everybody wanna say, all of a sudden y'all believed in me. All of a sudden you want a favor now, all of a sudden you want to be with me. All of a sudden y'all always knew, but I remember you ain't see it in me. And yes, I know I'm blessed, but sometimes I wish I could go back to the way it used to be, just so I feel what I've been missing. You could have it all, you see, but there's still something, it's not the same about you.
What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Tuesday night, week 3 of the fantasy football season. We're here for another fantasy football Q&A. So hopefully you guys have come in today, brought in those waiver wire questions, trade questions, start sits, I guess, going into week 3. At this point, it's still a little bit early, but we talk about those on tonight's stream as well. Appreciate everybody who is in the chat here early. Smitty, Chris, Patrick, Insidious, Frank, all of you guys who are here in the chat. Appreciate you being here on time, never tardy. Means a lot. Now, I will say, right before we get into the questions, I will get into those in just a quick second here. But if you guys want to support our show, you can always do our promo code over at Underdog. You can use that promo code LeagueFFB. If you play $5 on Underdog, they will give you $50 in bonus funds, and they will also give you a gimme pick to use on your first pick'em play. So if you've never played on Underdog and you want to support this show, you want something extra to root for this week here in week 3, strongly encourage you to go do that. Like I said, you can use promo code LeagueFFB if you want to support the show. Would mean a lot to us. But if not, the best way to support this show, if you wanted a free perspective, you don't want to spend any money, you don't want to do anything, that's fine too. Just hit that like button for me. It is the best free way to show this channel some support. So with that being said, folks, I don't want to waste too much time. Let's hop right into our first questions. And let's start it off here with this one by Smitty. He says, I am 0-2 in a 2-quarterback league. Daniels, Purdy out, backups are Ward, Rattler, running backs are Henderson, Monty, Brian Robinson Jr., and Connors. Merritt, Browning, and Mac Jones are on the waiver wire. Who would you prioritize? Good question. I think I would rather prioritize Mac Jones right now. I like his matchup more than I like the matchup for Jake Browning. That Minnesota Vikings defense is tough still. It's banged up. The whole team is banged up. And I see Johnny in the chat. We'll talk about it a little bit. But yeah, that Vikings team is banged up, but it's still a good defense. Brian Flores is going to bring pressure, so I would be playing Mac Jones or targeting Mac Jones on the waiver wire over Browning in that league. Chris, he says Dynasty trade. I sent Jamar Chase for Neighbors and Kyle Pitts after the Burrow news hit. What do you think? I don't hate it. I think Jamar Chase for Neighbors and Kyle Pitts is fine. We did a video over on the Dynasty Nerds channel not too long ago where we were trying to predict what we thought 2027 Dynasty startup drafts would look like a year or 2 years from now. And both Garrett Price and I, if you guys don't know Garrett Price, incredible Dynasty analyst over there, we both had Malik Neighbors as the wide receiver 1 in Dynasty. So you may be premature, but at the end of the day, if Burrow is missing time this year, I will take the Neighbors and the Kyle Pitts side for sure. So I like that for you, Chris. Patrick says 2-2 league median scoring. And by the way, Patrick, that's the best way to play. I don't play in any leagues that don't have a median. I think the median makes it so much more fun. It's more competitive. But he says I was offered CD and RJ for Chase Brown and Jalen Warren. I love CD, but would leave my RB2 empty. 12-team PPR keepers, 2 wide receivers, and a running back. I'm taking it. I'm taking CeeDee Lamb. I like CeeDee Lamb much more than Chase Brown. I'm worried about Chase Brown a little bit. The usage is there. I love the usage that we've been seeing out of him, but I'm concerned that with Joe Burrow out of the lineup, we're not going to get the production that I want from Chase Brown. Let me zoom this in just a little bit, so we should be good. But yeah, I probably would take the CeeDee Lamb side here. Insidious, I don't know how I didn't get to this first. He said, what up, Go? What up to you, man? Appreciate you being here. Frank says, what's up, Andrew? I got an offer in a 14-team half PPR redraft, no tight end premium to trade away Caleb for Trevor Lawrence and Fannin Jr. I have quarterbacks of Josh Allen and Hawkinson already, but I don't know Hawkinson's usage right now. It's hasn't been the start that I've wanted from Hawkinson either. It hasn't been the start for the Vikings offense that I've wanted. And I'll be the first to say that, man. I was very excited about them this year. They're banged up and it hurt. And honestly, JJ McCarthy hasn't played great football yet. Not to say that he can't. We'll get to that, Johnny. I know. But a 14-team, half PPR, redraft, no tight end premium. Are you trading away Caleb for T-Law and Fanning? I'm not. I am going to go with Caleb still, and I'm going to keep Hawkinson, plugging him in the lineup still over Fannin. That's just going to be the way that I do it, but especially because it's not a tight end premium. So still give me Caleb's side. All right, Johnny, elephant in the room. Everybody knows, if you've been around this channel for a while, you know I'm a Vikings fan. So I will address this tonight, and we'll talk about it a little bit. JJ McCarthy, ankle sprain, high ankle sprain, gonna miss a couple of weeks. As you guys know, sometimes those high ankle sprains are pretty annoying. They make you miss some time. What are my thoughts on JJ McCarthy? It hasn't been as good of a start as I've wanted it to be. Obviously, the play hasn't been great outside of the fourth quarter, a little bit of the third and fourth quarter of that Bears game. Obviously, he showed us some things that we like in that game. Mentally, I think some of the physical traits we've seen in some of these games too. But it does feel like he's been under a shit ton of pressure. I almost just spilt my drink right here. He's been under a shit ton of pressure to start the season, and it feels like the game's moving a little bit fast that he's under pressure that often. It doesn't help that Darrisaw's out. Ryan Kelly missed some time in that game. Some other guys on the offensive line out. Obviously, Jordan Addison not in the game. It's just learning curves of a rookie quarterback. So is it time to bring back Cousins? No. I'm okay throwing Carson Wentz out there for a couple weeks. But I do think at this point in time, I am not expecting this Vikings team to be a playoff team in 2025. If they are, they will be like a wild card team. That's my prediction right now, just based off of what I've seen. But first and foremost, we just need to get everybody healthy. Cosmic says, full PPR, one flex. Should I trade Kraft and Ricky Pearsall for Rome Odunze? My backup tight end is Ferguson, and my current wide receivers are Marvin Harrison Jr., Sutton, and Olave. I would do it. I like Rome as the breakout. It's starting to show its face. I think he's the number one wide receiver there in Chicago. So I would do it. I know, losing Kraft kind of sucks a little bit, but Ferguson's a fine enough tight end. And the fact that you didn't mention in here, it's a tight end premium. I'm not, too worried about the tight end position for the most part. Let's see. Smitty says Daniels is questionable. Yeah, he is questionable with a knee injury. We'll see if he ends up playing. I still have him projected to play right now, just because Dan Quinn did give us some, I would say, a little bit more of an optimistic report than we got from Ian Rappaport, but it's still TBD. We'll see. We'll watch the news more this week. Half PPR, should I start Dobbins or Hunter? I would probably be starting Dobbins in a half PPR right now. KJ says, my running backs are my weakest link, and I have Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Mason, Bashal, and Ollie Gordon. Should I drop Ollie for Tyler Algier or Rashad White, full PPR? Wow. I mean, you went rookie running back heavy, and they just haven't started off that great. I still think with Mason right now, with Aaron Jones going to be out for the next couple of weeks, being on IR, you have a guy there that you can play. Henderson and Harvey, they're going to eventually get it rolling, is my assumption. Bayshall's looking a little bit better. Should you drop Ollie for Algier or White? I'm not dropping Ollie for Algier, but I do think I would drop him for Rashad White, personally. Would you start Hawkinson or Kincaid in a full PPR league? Right now in my rankings, I do have TJ Hawkinson as my tight end 10 on the week, and Dalton Kincaid is my tight end 12. So I would be playing Hawkinson, but I understand if it makes you nervous with Carson Wentz under center. Insidious says, do you think this week is finally the week that Golden pops off? Also, do you think Aaron Jones is cooked at this point with the injury and Mason? Yeah, I think Aaron Jones is not trending in the right direction for his, I think, the back end of his career here. I'll be honest, just watching the first 2 games of Vikings football very closely as a fan, I have been begging Kevin O'Connell to give Jordan Mason more touches because he's looked better than Aaron Jones in the first 2 weeks. So, yeah, if Jordan Mason looks good these next couple weeks, it could be bad for Aaron Jones' workload in the back half of the year. Is this the week that Golden pops off, though? I'm not banking on it. I will say that. I think it's tough. He has the opportunity in front of him right now with Jaden Reed, undergoing surgery for the collarbone and for the foot. He went under for both surgeries here today is what I heard. But I do have Golden currently sitting as my wide receiver. Where is it? Wide receiver 55 on the week against the Cleveland Browns. That's a pretty decent defense too. So he's kind of a big play, boom bust guy. He was a player I didn't even really love in the draft process, but we'll see. I'd like Romeo Doubs as a play over Golden personally. KJ says, I picked up Fannin Jr. last week. Also have Ferguson, who has been who I've been starting. Who's the better tight end hold or stash? Fannin Jr. or Isaiah Likely? I think Fannon's the better stash and hold at the moment. Likely, we'll see what happens when he comes back. I will say Mark Andrews hasn't looked good, so there's a chance that Isaiah Likely comes in and gets more work than we think. So both of them are good holds, both of them are good stashes, but if I have to pick between the 2 guys right now, it's going to be Fannin just because we're seeing the production currently. Six Ring says, what up, man? In the flex, Worthy, Diggs, Tillman, or Hunter Henry. Heavy underdog. Okay, so heavy underdog. We're going for a big game. We're trying to get a big, a boom bust guy. I will say Worthy's a guy that I'm not really comfortable playing right now until we see some signs of life with the shoulder injury. Diggs could be fine, but it feels like he doesn't have the boom either. Green Bay matchup for Cedric Tillman is tough. Their defense has looked really good. I'll be honest, I think it's Tillman, but the matchup makes me nervous. I think it's between Tillman. Yeah, I'm probably playing Tillman, but I'm holding my breath. It's boom bust anyways. If he busts, it is what it is for the week, but I think he has the highest boom capability with touchdown opportunities. They're going to throw the football a ton. Is Caleb Johnson cooked? I'm not excited about him in redraft right now. I think Dynasty, you just wait and hold the course. This is the bullshit games that Arthur Smith plays. We should have seen this coming. Arthur Smith had Bijan Robinson as a rookie starting his career splitting snaps with Algier. So I guess it hasn't changed too much. It's not splitting snaps anymore, but yeah, this is the game that he plays. So no, I'm not saying he's cooked. I'm not too worried about him overall, but obviously not the start that we want for Caleb Johnson. For redraft, you can drop him, though. Frank says, Dynasty 12-team half PPR super flex. Would you trade away Penix for Marvin Harrison Jr. straight up, or would you hold on to Penix, or would you ask more for Penix? What's Penix worth? My quarterbacks are Mahomes, Penix, Dart, and J.J. McCarthy. 12-team half PPR super flex. I think that price is fine. Penix for Marvin Harrison Jr. Your quarterback room doesn't seem super great at the moment. Mahomes and then Penix feels like your next best guy temporarily, unless we see some massive signs of improvement from McCarthy right now. And then Dart is interesting. I probably would make the move. That feels like good value. But I'm between making the move because the value's right and holding because you kind of need QB. So that's kind of my thoughts there, Frank. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Raid the squad and moves to make 12-team PPR start 7. Daniels, Chase Brown, Swift, Judkins, Harvey, Charbonnet, Benson, CD, JSN, Sutton, Igbuka, Kraft, and then Jawan Johnson. Is my running back room okay? If not, what moves? Brown, Swift, Judkins, Harvey, Sharp, Benson. I feel like the room's fine. Chase, like I said, Chase Brown's going to make me a little bit nervous. So if you can find somebody in your league that is still willing to move him laterally, I would be okay moving Chase Brown potentially for like a Josh Jacobs. I would move Chase Brown maybe for a guy like, I don't know, maybe a Bucky if you can get a Bucky, but I don't know if you can get one at this point in time. But I'm okay moving him laterally, but if not, I'm okay with the room that you got. So as far as rooms to make or moves to make, I don't really think you have any. You just got to wait on Judkins and Harvey, but the team is good. I think the team's going to be a strong playoff potential team here. Kyle, my guy, he says, guys, I'm 0-2. What? I feel like we are missing something here. Got him to agree to trade Chase for Kyron and Jones. It got vetoed. Now we got Chase and Isaiah Pacheco for Devontae Smith. I can tell Kyle's mad right now because he's got typos all over the shit. So he's just typing angrily and he's not even checking. Chase for Isaiah Pacheco for Devontae Smith, Aaron Jones, and Kyron. Hopefully it don't get vetoed. Yeah, I honestly... Kyron and Jones, I'm assuming Aaron Jones with him going on IR is why, but I hate vetoes. I don't know why anybody plays in leagues with vetoes. I think they're stupid. What upgrades to make? Oh, we already talked about that already. Six Ring says, in a rebuild, would you sell Jordan Mason for a second to get the points off of my roster, or wait a couple of weeks and see if I can get a first? You can play the game. I sold him for a second on one of my rebuilding rosters. This was before the Aaron Jones news, though, and probably would be... If I'm rebuilding, I don't mind taking the second, especially if it's early. But you can holding it the first if he has some big games. But do you think those big games are going to come with Carson Wentz? That's the question you have to ask yourself, Six Rings. Smitty says, since I have Purdy already, I was thinking about picking up Browning to handcuff all the decent quarterbacks left and make someone trade for QB since Purdy is coming back. What do you think? You could absolutely do that if you want to. Probably is a little galaxy brainy at the moment, but I don't hate it, to be honest. Sam says, I'm about to trade Garrett Wilson and Travis Etienne for Genty and AJ Brown. What are your thoughts? Garrett and Travis for Genty and AJ Brown. I'm okay with it. I think you can do it. AJ makes me slightly nervous just because they're not passing the football enough for me, but I think Garrett and Genty are pretty similarly valued guys right now, and ETN and AJ should probably be the same. So I don't mind it at all. I think I would do it. And then if AJ bounces back or they get it together a little bit in the second part of, or I guess not even in a couple of weeks, then you have a good outcome here. So Insidious says, I haven't really been watching Chargers games, but why do they not have any sort of running attack? I know the Chiefs got a great run D, but I'm seeing my third round pick put up less than 7 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, it hasn't been great for Hampton. He fumbled the other night too, which I think is part of the reason. Najee's been involved. But you look at their, matchups, they haven't been the best matchups for the Chargers, actually. So they've just been tougher, and they are missing an offensive lineman who's been injured, not going to play this year, Slater. So that's kind of probably part of the reasons for it. Also, I just think that this team passes more now than we think they're going to. I think they're going to be a more pass-heavy team than they were in 2024 based off of what I've seen. I wouldn't, panic too much on Hampton, though. I'm between Ellick and Travis Hunter as my second flex. I just benched Hunter. What should I do with Travis Hunter? I'm worried he will be a bust for fantasy. Yeah, I wasn't super in on the Travis Hunter pick this year. I didn't draft him anywhere. No dynasty leagues, no redraft leagues, no anything. I didn't draft him anywhere. I didn't even draft him in best ball. But I like playing him this week more than Alec Iomanner. So I probably would still do it. And we just got a super chat from Joshua. So Joshua, I appreciate you super chatting. That's a reminder, folks, if you want to skip the line, that's how Joshua did it, is he put in a super chat, and that's what got him to the front of the line. So Joshua with $9.99, thank you. He says, I have Kyler at quarterback, CMC, Javonte, Swift, Mason at running back, Neighbors, Evans, T-Mac, Myers, Marv, Mooney, Ayuk, Hollywood at wide receiver. Would you trade Marv for May and Ridley? Wondering if May has more upside. Okay, so let me would you trade Marv for May and Ridley? I don't think I would make that trade. Honestly, I like having Kyler and Marvin. I like the idea of having that rather than having Kyler and May and then getting Ridley. I'm not very high on Ridley, so I think I would just keep what you have at the moment. I think Kyler's fine at your quarterback for now. CMC, Javonte is really, really solid at the running back position. With Swift and Mason, you're going to be good there. Neighbors, Evans, T-Mac. You have upside with T-Mac. You have Myers, who's safe flex production. Marv, you can... I think this team is fine. You've done a good job managing it. You've done a good job drafting. Whatever this is, how you've gotten to this point, Joshua, I think you've done a good job. So as far as that trade goes, it's not a bad offer. Marv for May and Ridley, but I would just rather have Marvin based on your current team structure. So let's go back to the next question that was in line. It was Vegas Sinatra. Vegas Sinatra says 2027 first and a 26 second for Travion Henderson. Which side are you taking? If the 2027 first is early, you go with the draft pick side. However, I really do like Travion Henderson, and I think I think he's a player that's going to get better over time. I'm not too worried about what the first couple of weeks we've seen from him so far. If it's an early 27 first, I'll go with the pick side, but if it's like a late 27 first, just give me Travion Henderson here. Daniel says, hey, I just subscribed 2-0 in my first league. Congratulations, Daniel. PPR league, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex spot. He says, trade Kyron Williams for Drake London. I have Genty, Pollard, Jalen Warren, Malik Sutton, Juwan, Matthew Golden. Yes, I am trading Kyron Williams for Drake London. I would absolutely do that. I think you'll have maybe a little bit of a need at running back afterwards, but I think London is a better player, and then you can use a guy like Sutton or use a guy like maybe Juwan Jennings and just go get like a flex running back. Like if you traded Juwan Jennings and something maybe to go get a guy that's been a little bit underwhelming like James Conner, I think you'd be fine. So yes, I would make the trade. In Dynasty, is Chase Brown a buy, sell, or hold? Well, I kind of had him as a sell coming into the season, and then I started to like him for redraft purposes, not in Dynasty. So I think for now he's a hold probably, just because it feels like it's a little bit more gloom than it is right now, or than it was previously for Chase Brown. But I think the sell window was this offseason when everybody was super excited about him. And I'm holding for now. Maybe we'll get a second, a back half of the season. It's going to be a while from now, week 14 that Burrow's back maybe at this point in time. So if he's back about that time, if the Bengals aren't in the playoff picture, then maybe he's not even playing at all. But hopefully Chase Brown can put some games together and you can sell from there. But he's not a buy for me. That's for sure. 12-team PPR, I'm 2-0, top of the league, and I want to trade Chuba and Rashee Rice for Bucky and DJ Moore. Thoughts? I think with you being 2-0, if you weren't 2-0, I would take the immediate production of Bucky and DJ Moore. But at this point in time, I think I'm probably still just going to sit on Chuba and Rashee, because Rashee's the guy that I want the most. Maybe Bucky too. Those two guys are going to be the two guys that I want the most at the end of this suspension for Rashee. So I think I'm going to take Rashee and Chuba for now. It's a fair deal. I guess it's going to be team dependent, Hoodie. So I guess let me know on your team. If you need a running back, I don't mind the Bucky side. My buddy is selling Marvin Harrison Jr. and he's interested in my Travion Henderson. I'm fine making that swap, but I feel like I need to add a little more. Any advice on swindling my buddy? My buddy is selling Marvin Harrison Jr. and he's interested in my Travion Henderson. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're selling Travion, you probably have to have a little bit more to get to Marvin. But to be honest, neither of these guys have really shown elite potential yet. It feels kind of fair as is, but if you have to add something to the Travion side, it might be like a late second. Travion and a late second for Marvin. That's probably a fair deal. Thoughts on Judkins and Swift rest of season? How trustworthy can they be in a full PPR league? Judkins is going to get better over time. I don't have a strong opinion on him right now. We need to see him just get more involved in this offense. Swift, I think, is going to get the workload. But what is that going to mean from an efficiency standpoint? Can either of them be trusted in a full PPR? I think right now we can view Swift as a running back 2 and Judkins as like a flex guy for now. And that's about as much as I can give you at the moment, unfortunately. BTJ or AJ Brown rest of season. I have AJ Brown here and already have Travis Hunter. I played the guy this week with BTJ week 8, so he wants off BTJ to win our matchup. I also have Devontae and Bowers, so week 8 is hard. I would rather have Bryant Thomas Jr. than I would AJ Brown. And I think really it's, yes, there have been drops and it hasn't been good for BTJ. I'm not disputing that. But they've been throwing the damn ball way more than the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't see that changing for the Eagles, honestly. So I would rather have BTJ. Raul says, would you drop Tootin, Booty, Harvey, or JCM for Keenan Allen, Juwan Jennings, Troy Franklin, or Iomater on the waivers? 8-team full PPR. So I would drop Booty for Keenan Allen. And then at that point, I think I'm okay. I want to find a way to pick up Iomater, but I want to keep 2 and I want to keep JCM. Harvey would be the next guy that I'd be looking at, but I don't really want to drop him yet either. So I guess it's just Booty for Keenan right now, or Booty for Iomater would be the drops that I'd be making. Counter trade, PPR sending Chase Brown, Sutton, Scat for CD and RJ Harvey. Patrick, I think this is from an earlier trade that you had. You said, I think you said it was a keeper league. I don't like this one as much. I actually would rather have the Chase Brown on the Sutton side here. What is this for? Is Marv a sit till Kyler figures out he's a generational talent? I'll be honest, I don't think it's Marvin. I still don't think it's Kyler. Petzing is not a good play caller. We saw this last year. He's fine enough, like he wins NFL games, but he's not utilizing Marvin Harrison. So until Petzing is out of the building, I don't know. I don't know, man. Would you start Jordan Mason over Genty this week? Other running backs are Bucky and Cook. Mason over Genty? I don't think so. You have to start Cook. Cook's my running back 3 on the week right now in this Miami game. So I have Cook, Bucky as starters. I'd probably play Genty. But yeah. Super chat from Tyler Sperry. Appreciate Tyler. The super chat. 199 says start 2 Stafford. Kyron. I'm assuming is this Marin? Tyler, I want to make sure that we answer this. So what is the middle name? I want to make sure we have that. I'll keep an eye out for this, Tyler, just in case you want to follow this up with a correction. But start 2 Stafford, Marin, Mason. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Drop Mims or Franklin. I would rather drop Mims. Waivers, Pacheco or Ramondre. Pacheco for Ramondre, Hollywood for Franklin. I would rather have Hollywood, and I would rather have Pacheco. Tyler, you didn't have to super chat again. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. He says Kyron. I figured it was. So Stafford, Kyron, Mason. I'm assuming this is a super flex spot. You have to pick 2 of them. So in the super flex spot, I'm going to be going with Stafford and Kyron. I wouldn't play Mason over Kyron or Stafford in a super flex spot right now. Appreciate you, Tyler. Seriously, thank you. Is Quentin Johnston finally coming alive? Herbert seems to focus and force passes to him. I think he's interesting. The problem here is I think that whole offense is going to spread the football around a little bit. We have some good weeks here looking at QJ. So, yeah, definitely a player that we need to be looking at. Definitely a player that needs to be on rosters. But he could finally be coming alive. Absolutely. I don't know how consistent this offense is going to be as far as like honing into single targets. I think they pass the football around a little bit too much, which is good because we thought they were going to run the football too much. Samson, Dobbins, Hall in half PPR. Pick 2 of them to start. It's Dobbins and Hall. We're not playing Samson. Joe Burrow equals Andrew Luck? Maybe. I've seen those comparisons on X, though. What do we got? Do you recommend selling or holding Ladd in Dynasty? He is my wide receiver 2 currently. I would be holding. I haven't seen anything that's made me nervous about Ladd McConkey. I still like him. So I'm not selling. Bradley, is benching Tyreek versus Buffalo valid? Could play Worthy instead. I would not be doing this. I would be playing Tyreek over Worthy. Bench 1, Connor versus San Francisco, Pearsall versus San Francisco, JCM versus Las Vegas. It's JCM for me right now. He's going to be the one bench. I don't know what it's going to look like. Hopefully it looks good. The matchup is pretty solid, but I'll tell you what, right now, JCM is my running back 27 on the week. Maybe no Jaden Daniels in this game. He's questionable. For now, there's just too much there that I don't like it. So Connor and Pearsall would be my plays. Do you think Odunze will keep putting up the points he has been for the last 2 weeks? Well, it's going to be really hard to keep replicating what he did this last week. But I do think Odunze is the wide receiver 1 in Chicago. I truly do. And I think he's going to be a incredible value for people who have drafted him where they drafted him at. I've been Team Odunze all offseason, though. You guys know this. I got A.J. Brown in Dynasty. Any suggestions on what to do with him? If you're contending, you weather the storm. You just hold him and see what happens. If you're not contending, I'm okay selling him for probably, it's for me, it's probably got to be like an early first, a single early first or a mid first and like an early second. So 1 and a 2 maybe. But if I'm contending, you weather the storm. Late second is kind of what I was thinking. No problem. Appreciate it. Hoodie says, I have CMC, Judkins, and Chuba while my receivers are Drake London, Jacoby Myers, Ted McMillan, and Rice in regards to the Chuba and Rice for Bucky and DJ Moore. Okay. I think you're actually... you might be worse at running back. I don't mind the Bucky and DJ Moore side of the deal here, given the context. Thoughts on Ibuka, Kraft, and Harvey? I just traded away Connor and Golden for them and Sutton rest of season. Well, I love all of these players. I think Ibuka is going to be great the rest of the season. Kraft looks like a damn good tight end for the rest of the year. Probably a top 5 option, especially now that Jaden Reed is out. Harvey, it's going to be wait and see. I made a video on the channel this week that was like buys and sells, and Harvey was the guy that I just was like, I don't see this really happening for the moment. So he's a guy that I would be the least confident in. But I think you trading Connor and Golden... I think I'd rather, excuse me, I think I'd rather have Connor and Golden than Harvey at the moment. And Sutton, I think he's going to be fine. So I like all of these players for the most part. Burrow or Goff in a late first and second, 6-point passing. Give me Burrow. But if you're contending and you need production in your room right now, I don't mind Goff in the first and the second, but I'm definitely going Burrow. Stream the Bucks versus the Giants or the Jets, Falcons versus Carolina, or the Commanders versus Las Vegas. The very rare defense question that I get each week. Let's see. Bucks right now, I have them as the 4th best play at the defensive position, so I would be going with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Would you trade Juwan Jennings and Tootin for Bill Krosky Merritt in Dynasty? Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Greatly appreciate you, brother. Should I drop Fields for Daniels? Murray's killing me. Jaden Daniels is on your waiver wire? I would absolutely drop him for Jaden Daniels, yes. I graciously, Fields for Daniels. Murray is my other quarterback. He's killing me. Yeah, I mean, if it's Jaden Daniels, absolutely, dude. Tyler the GOAT? Tyler is the GOAT. MK says, we worried about Franklin tanking Sutton, or were the Broncos just focused on taking him out? It was a tougher matchup for Sutton anyways. I wouldn't be too worried about Sutton at all. Insidious says, gotta go. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate you being here, Insidious. Seriously. Have a good evening. MK says, we worried about Franklin stealing targets from Sutton. I'm not. I think there's enough room for people in this offense to be contributors. I would be more worried about Evan Engram long-term than I would be Sutton. In the actual lineup, I have T-Mac and Judy at the 2 flex. Would you drop one of them for Io Manor? No, I would not. Johnny says, where do you have... I love this question. Where do you have J-Mo in your rankings? Who's one above and below? And why do you have him so low? So before you even know where I have him, you're telling me I have him too low. I have J-Mo, and you're probably right. I have J-Mo as my wide receiver 32. The one guy above him currently right now is Devonta Smith. But honestly, I could see those guys swapping. The one guy below him is Ricky Pearsall. So it's J-Mo at 32, Smith at 31, Ricky at 33. 3 wide receiver team. My mains are Marv, Lamb, Puka. Yeah, you have a great wide receiver room there. I traded away Connor and Golden to receive Kraft and Harvey. Okay, this is the same team that I listed out before. How is it in that context? Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. I honestly, like I said, all of those players that we talked about for the rest of season, I like pretty much every single one of them. So I think you're fine here. MK says Jaden Daniels on the waivers is insane. Absolutely insane behavior. That's like home league behavior to a T. But you gotta love to see it. That's how you go in here and you win these leagues, man. But all right, we are caught up. Good to see us caught up. We're at 14 likes right now. If we could get one to get to 15, that would be dope. But also for anybody who hasn't liked this stream yet, go ahead and do that for me. Would love to see us run that number up. And then bring those questions still, keep them coming, because I do want to answer these for you guys. We're at about the 40-minute mark. We go about an hour each night that we do this. So we got about 20 minutes left for your questions if you guys want to keep them coming. But I will let you know, this is the one thing. If you guys let me catch up, then I do hit you guys with the ads. So I am going to tell you guys, if you want to support our show, other than tapping the like button, because the like button is the best free way to do it. But if you want to support our show, you can go over to Underdog, play using promo code LeagueFFB for new customers. If you've never signed up, you play $5. They will give you $50 in bonus cash just for using our promo code and playing. And they will also give you a gimme pick. So it's going to be a game on the slate this week. I'm not really sure which one it is. It changes every single week, but you see the examples here on the screen. Bijan for half a rushing yard, Lamar Jackson for half a passing yard. They're going to give you something like that so you can win some money pretty easily here this week. So like I said, if you want to support the show, you've never played on Underdog, do me the favor, click the link in the description or use promo code LeagueFFB over on Underdog. Ravens says, any trade recommendations for selling Travis Hunter and Tootin? I think my running backs are fine, and I would like to capitalize on the hype that Tootin is getting right now. That's a good question. Let's go over to Fantasy Calc because I want to see how these guys are trending based off of other people's opinions, and then I'll tell you some of the guys in their range that I would like. So at the wide receiver position, currently Travis Hunter is... Where are we at? Where is he? Wide receiver 38. So he's around like Jalen Waddle, Worthy, Keon Coleman, Olave, Jordan Addison, Keenan Allen. I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm selling him for any of those names. I do like Olave's target share, so I guess Olave would be the one name there that I would look at. But if there's guys a little bit ahead of him, maybe a guy like DJ Moore, a guy like Ricky Pearsall, or George Pickens that you can move him for. Jamison Williams, too, included in that. If you can move Travis Hunter for any of those guys, I'm not opposed to it. As far as Tootin goes, I think Tootin is a player that maybe hasn't gotten enough hype yet for him to be super relevant. But let's see. He is currently the running back 42. I mean, he's still around like the Brian Robinson, Dylan Sampson, Cam Scadaboo, Ramondre Stevenson. He's not at a point yet where I'm selling him, so I'm still holding on to Tootin. Johnny says he had to mean Daniel Jones, not Jaden Daniels. Daniels, though, that would make more sense. Daniel Jones would make more sense. And if that's the case, are you dropping Fields for Daniel Jones? No, I would not drop Justin Fields for Daniel Jones. But I do like Daniel Jones a lot. I'd probably pick him up. I don't want to overreact with Genty. Just curious, though, what's your overall take on him so far? Look, I told people, and I've gotten shit wrong, and I know I have shit wrong too. You guys probably are like, Andrew told me to do something in the preseason that I'm not even remembering, and I got shit wrong. But I do remember saying that I wasn't very high on Ashton Genty as like a best ball pick or as a redraft pick, because I felt like the Raiders' offensive line was really bad, and I felt like it was going to take some time, even though he was going to be a volume play. That said, I'm not too worried about him. I do have him lower in my rankings this week. He is in my rankings this week as my... what is it? Running back 16 in a tough matchup against the Washington Commanders. So we're tempering the expectations for now, but yeah, probably going to look back at that and not be super happy at cost. Might have gave up a lot, but what are your thoughts? I sent Tyreek and ETN for Chase Brown and Jacoby. I just hated the risk of Reek with CMC on the same roster. I'm feeling a little bit worse about Chase Brown than I am, now that Burrow's not in the lineup. But Chase Brown and Jacoby, I think that's fine. I think it's fine. I think you did give up a good amount, but I don't think it's a bad deal. Frank says, I was offered JD5 for 3 firsts and Tua. My quarterbacks are Goff, Tua, and Danny Dimes. Would you accept this trade? Superflex 12-team, half PBR, tight end premium. He also asked for Goff and 2 27 first and a 27 second for JD5. That's hefty. It's kind of hefty. I mean, if you're contending, I don't... 3 firsts and Tua, it feels like a lot. In a 12-team Superflex, I'm probably okay pulling the trigger on the 3 firsts and the Tua deal, assuming that all of those picks are going to be mid to late. I'm not doing the Goff one, though. Yeah. But I also don't mind holding. You said, would you make these trades or hold? I don't mind doing the Tua one, but I don't mind holding either. And just seeing what you can get out of Daniel Jones for now. How are you feeling about JJ, man? I don't think Jed has finished his top 3 with him. Yeah, I mean, I said it at the beginning of the show. Johnny brought it up, but not the start that I wanted to see out of him, but also the team's been banged up. It is, kind of a tough catch-22 there where if everybody's hurt, you don't have your weapons like Jordan Addison out there. And Thielen hasn't looked good. I'll be honest, Thielen has not looked that great. Neither has Hawkinson. It's not great. Nothing. How do I feel about JJ, though? 2 games into his career, I still think he can be the franchise guy. I'm not, overly changing my opinion off of 2 games. I'm the commissioner of a keeper league. One of my league mates wants out of the league because they feel like someone fleeced someone. What do I do? Tell them, yeah, you can leave at the end of the year, but you played this year. You paid to play this year. You play this year. That's fine. And then you can replace them at the end of the year. And then at the end of the year, if they feel differently, let, fucking time iron out whether people got fleeced. We can't make those decisions today unless it's clear and obvious. If somebody clearly and obvious got fleeced, then shit, sometimes that happens in fantasy football. Don't be a crybaby about it. That's what I'd tell them. Raven says, thanks for all the help and advice. Johnny says, J-Mo behind Slim Reaper on a team that doesn't pass is diabolical. One ahead of Pearsall with Mac Jones. Doubly so. I hear you, Johnny. Detroit may be forced to pass, playing from behind much of the game against Baltimore. Yeah, that game should be pretty pass-heavy. But Baltimore defense is pretty good, though. We'll see. It should be a good game. A different roster, Flex 2, full PPR, Igbuka, Chuba, McLaurin, Ridley, Pollard, and Hollywood. I'm going to go with Igbuka. And then I'm between Chuba and McLaurin. I think I'm going to go Chuba. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Igbuka and Chuba. I like Igbuka. He's been doing solid, but I'm wondering if Sauce is going to guard him or Evans. I think Sauce profiles more as like the Evans matchup. An outside guy. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong on this. But I don't think slot or Sauce plays much in the slot. I'd have to double check that. But just off the top of my head, I don't think he plays in the slot a ton. Which is where Igbuka plays. Am I good to bench Hampton this week? It depends on your options. But I have Hampton as my running back 24. So that's like a low-end RB2. If you have other options, absolutely. You're fine. The trade was T. Higgins, Braylon Allen, and $17 fab for CeeDee Lamb. It's one of my close friends that wants out. I mean, you would rather have the Lamb side. Absolutely. Is it like burn the league to the ground, run out of the league type of deal? No. I mean, it's one of your close friends. If it's a close friend, you can have a conversation. Let him not overreact. Tell him if he still wants to leave at the end of the league, then or at the end of the year, then it is what it is. No hard feelings, but at least have that conversation. But it's not like leave the league worthy of a deal there to get out. Andre says that's a fleece, Andrew. I mean, yes, like I'm not denying that you would much rather have the CD, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like if you're gonna leave the league and storm and throw the temper tantrum, it's got to be like Jacoby Myers for Jamar Chase, like straight across. Like it has to be like clear and obvious collusion type of deal. That's like a bad trade. Fuck it. Like it is what it is. Shit happens in a fantasy league sometimes. People make bad trades. Get better. That's all I will say. Other options are Pollard, Monty, and Javonte. So I would play Javonte for sure. I'm not playing Pollard over Hampton, and I'm not playing Monty. So I guess I'm going to play Hampton. Terry sounds good against the Giants, but he's hurt me 2 weeks in a row. I also think it depends on JD. If Jaden Daniels doesn't play, I am definitely not playing Terry. But if he plays, it gets a little bit more interesting. Johnny says if it's not collusion, trade stance, 100%. Absolutely. Marcy, she says, hey, Andrew, you were a superstar last week. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for asking the questions. And I'm just glad that we could help you. So I'm glad to hear it. Deepak, Wentz going to improve JJ's production. Hurting on my top pick. Also have AJ Brown, and that's sucking too. Just tears all around. Is he going to improve JJ's production? I don't know. I hope the offense kind of gets moving. The offensive line has been bad, but I will say this matchup against that Bengals defense should be an opportunity for a little bit of a bounce back. So hopefully we get a good week this week with the shitty backup quarterbacks that are playing in that matchup. But just give it a little bit of time. Give it a little bit of time. I think you'll be okay. AJ Brown, that's another guy that I'm starting to temper my expectations on him. But again, you're going to have to be patient to see the big game come, and then maybe you can make a move off of him. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that it's tears right now. But the good thing is we're still in the data collecting phase of the fantasy season. I'd say about the first 4 weeks, the first month is usually that data collection time. Then you have a big enough sample size that you can really rely on what we're seeing, and then we can go from there. Braylon doesn't even start. I feel like you got to give up at least 2 starters. I'd understand his side more, though, if the guy getting CD has a God squad now. I hear you, Andre. Maybe I'm just built different where if a bad trade happens, like I said, that shit happens in fantasy football. I'm not crying about it and leaving the league for it, especially a fucking redraft or a keeper league. Like a dynasty league is different because those add up over time. Even then, I'm not vetoing in dynasty leagues. My leagues operate with no vetoes. Clear collusion, you get that manager out of the league. No vetoes though. It is what it is. Mostly says, should I pivot off of T-Law as a contender? And if I do, who should I go for? It would be interesting to see what you would even be able to get for T-Law on a contender. I'd be curious. The first thing that comes to mind is, like, can you move T-Law based off of the age for Dak and maybe a second? Like, can you get Dak in a second for T-Law? Maybe. Marcy says, full PPR. I have running backs, JT, Javonte, and Jalen Warren. Which two should I play? Do I play the third over Igbuka in my flex? So I would play JT and Javonte, and I would play Igbuka over Jalen Warren. So it's JT, Javonte, and Igbuka. Those would be the guys that I play. Rob says, the guy who got CD has Josh Allen and Lamar. It's a keeper. 2 players. Gronk. Don't you... I feel like you've told me about this team. Don't you have Josh Allen and Lamar? You're saying the guy, but isn't it you, bro? Am I seeing this? Am I clocking this correctly right now? Other league, full PPR, Mason, Hampton, Walker, and Sharps. Pick 2. So full PPR, Hampton, Walker. I'm going to go with Walker and... I think Mason. Walker and Mason would be the 2 that I play. Your flex, you're going to go one of those or Worthy, Igbuka, Devontae, or Sutton. It's going to be between Sutton and Igbuka. Let's go with Igbuka. I'm going to go with, let's go Walker, Mason, Igbuka. Raul says, speaking of superstar, last week, you having me drop Stafford for Herbert and start him made me win my matchup by 1 point. 179 to 178. Hell yeah, dude. Glad to hear that one. Sometimes it can go the other way for sure, but I'm glad to hear that we were able to get that one for you. All right, folks, we are at about 53 minutes. The chat has slowed down a tiny bit. I'm going to call last call. We usually go about an hour. This one might be like 56 minutes, 57 minutes. But yeah, see, now the plot thickens here, Rob. You said, yeah, you're the commissioner, but it is your team. So you finessed somebody, and now your buddy wants out of the league that you're the commissioner. So you got a good deal. Okay, so now the plot thickens because as commissioner, how can you tell him to get over it? And if you want to leave the league and you're the one who made the trade. Okay, the plot thickens for sure when you say it like that, but trade stands. A trade made is a trade played. That's what I would say. And if you don't like it, sorry. Hurt feelings and fantasy football don't mix. Educate the player who is making bad trades on why the trades are bad. It will make the whole league better. What happens in other leagues is inconsequential. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And one question for my son. Okay, Superflex, Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson, Cam Ward, or Aaron Rodgers. We're going Daniel Jones. I'm playing Daniel Jones. I like Russell Wilson's matchup this week too. Should be fine. But in my rankings right now, I do have Daniel Jones as my QB 12. So he's going to be my play. Daniel Jones against the Titans. I traded Myers and a 26 first for Hunter before week 1 in Dynasty. I'm third in league for points scored, even with Hunter being disappointing. Am I in a bad spot now or am I fine? Traded Myers and a 26 first for Hunter before week 1. I don't think it's bad. I mean, in Dynasty, it is what it is. I think you give it time. The Dynasty is a long game, man. I want to make it clear, when I am giving redraft advice and when I am giving Dynasty advice, they're very different. Redraft, I am much less patient than I am in Dynasty. In Dynasty, I am going to be much, much more patient than I am in a redraft league. A redraft league, I need my guys to score now. In Dynasty, you can get hot late. If guys get hot late, you're going to be good next year. Like, you're going to be more patient in a Dynasty league. Would I have to add on top of T-Law to get to Baker? Probably, but it's kind of the same thing. You know, I just said, can you get Dak in a second? You might be able to go T-Law in a second for Baker. You might be able to do that. Sound advice on JJ and AJ. I need a backup QB. Just lost McCarthy, but have Jalen Hurts. Options on the wire are Wilson, Bryce, Mac Jones, T-Law, Stafford, Browning, Darnold, and Rodgers. Okay. I think my answer is going to be T-Law. I'm just going to double check my rankings here real quick. But I am going to go T-Law. He's going to be my pickup if you need some QB play. He gets a matchup against Houston this week, which is going to be fine. San Francisco next week against a Mac Jones led should be fine. KC the next week. I think you're going to be okay going T-Law. Rob says, I'm telling you, dude. And then Marcy says, thank you. Appreciate it, Marcy. And that is it, folks. We are going to wrap it up here. Like I said, I called final call. We've caught back up again. We're about an hour. There's 100 people watching this stream at the moment. Not everybody is on YouTube, of course, but if there's 100 eyes on this stream at the moment and you are on YouTube and you haven't hit that like button for me, please go hit that like button for me. We're at 17 likes. I'd like to see us try and get to 25 by the time we wrap this up. I do have a buzzer beater question here from Frank, so we'll answer this one and then we'll get on out of here. But he says, do you have any leagues next year that viewers can join and play with you? Also, you're no longer in first in the Pick'em League. LOL. Lastly, would you trade a late first for Dak in a Dynasty Superflex? I would do a late first for Dak in a Dynasty Superflex. The Pick'em League, I told you it was going to be all down after the first week. When I was number one, just the fact that even happened, I told you it was downhill from there. I also let my fandom pick the Vikings over the Falcons. And then, do I have any Dynasty Leagues next year that viewers can join with me? I'm thinking of doing a potential subscriber league next year. That is the plan. So we will see if we can get something in where people can play with me next year. But at the moment, I don't have one. We're thinking of making one. So that should be coming in the future. Johnny says, great show, bro. I'm out for tonight. Go Lions and FTP. I will agree with you on FTP. And appreciate you for saying great show. But that's it, folks. We are all good. We're all out of here. So hit the like button for me. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Make sure to go join our free Discord. We do have a free Discord linked in the description. And like I said, in the middle and at the beginning of the show, if you want to support the show, League FFB, it's over here. League FFB over on Underdog is the promo code to do to support us on the show. But other than that, I have nothing else for you guys today. So we'll see you on the next episode. We'll see you tomorrow for some rankings. We'll drop our weekly rankings, running backs and wide receivers. But until then, peace out.